All right, Jay, settle in. Let's walk the streets of D.C., but not the ones on the postcards. The humid August night pressed down on Anacostia, a thick, wet blanket smelling of exhaust, stale beer, and the ever present decay of forgotten things. Rain had tried to wash the grit from the streets earlier, but only succeeded in making the grime gleam under the sickly orange of the flickering streetlights. This was where the city's facade cracked, revealing the bone and sinew beneath the marble. And this was where Anya operated. She stood in the mouth of an alley, a deeper shadow within shadows, watching the comings and goings at a boarded up row house across the street. It was supposed to be abandoned, another casualty of neglect and broken promises. But Anya knew better. The low thrum of a generator, the flicker of light behind a grimy, newspaper covered window. It was a hive. Not of bees, but of something far more parasitic. Tonight, her focus was a man named Councilman Davies. Not Davies himself. Not yet. Tonight was about his bagman, a weaselly creature named Finnegan, who scurried between the halls of power and the dens of blight, carrying whispers and illicit currency. Finnegan thought his proximity to the powerful made him invisible, untouchable. Anya found that kind of arrogance particularly offensive. It was a common ailment in this city. She wasn't a hero. Heroes ended up on plaques or in tragic news segments. Anya was a consequence, a necessary counterbalance in a system so tilted it threatened to spill everyone into the gutter. Her methods were surgical, brutal, and utterly personal. She dealt in a currency the powerful understood even better than money: fear, the kind that settled deep in the marrow and made a man question every shadow. A memory, sharp and cold as a shard of glass, pricked at her. A promise broken, a life shattered, the indifferent turning of the official gears. That memory was the engine that drove her, the cold fire in her gut. She didn't seek to dismantle the whole rotten edifice. She was more like a carpenter ant, hollowing out the supports of those who thought themselves kings of the termite mound, one corrupt beam at a time. A battered sedan, engine wheezing, pulled up to the row house. Finnegan, small and twitchy, darted out, clutching a worn briefcase to his chest. He looked like a rat caught in a searchlight. Anya pushed off the crumbling brick wall, her movements fluid and silent, a panther in the urban jungle. There was no wasted motion, no theatricality, just purpose. She intercepted Finnegan halfway across the street, stepping out of the gloom so suddenly he stumbled back with a yelp, his eyes wide and terrified in the dim light. Evening, Finnegan, Anya said, her voice a low, calm rumble that barely carried above the distant city hum. It held no malice, just an unnerving certainty. It was the kind of voice that didn't need to be raised to command a room, or in this case, a desolate street corner. You have something that doesn't belong to you. Finnegan stammered, I don't know what you're talking about. His gaze darted around, looking for an escape route that didn't exist. Anya's lips curved into something that might have been a smile on a different face, in a different life. On hers, it was a predatory warning. Oh, I think you do. People in your line of work usually have excellent memories for details, especially when their well-being depends on it. She took a step closer, and Finnegan visibly shrank. Let's not make this more unpleasant than it needs to be. The contents of that briefcase are causing a great deal of suffering to people who can't fight back, and I have a particular dislike for bullies. There was no weapon visible, but the threat in her posture and her unwavering gaze was more potent than any displayed steel. Finnegan, his bravado evaporating like mist, fumbled with the clasps of the briefcase and shoved it towards her. Anya took it, her eyes never leaving his. A word of advice, Finnegan. Find a new line of work. The pension plan in this one is terrible. Without another word, she melted back into the shadows, the briefcase in hand, leaving Finnegan trembling under the indifferent gaze of the streetlights. The contents wouldn't go to the police. That was just another part of the broken machine. Anya had her own distribution network, her own way of ensuring the scales, so long, unbalanced, tipped back, even if just a little, towards those ground down by the city's relentless avarice. It wasn't justice, not the kind they wrote about in law books. It was something far more elemental. It was an evening of the score,